Christmas 2021 in the books. I'm headed back from my parents. Just wanted to make this little clip because I got a lot of new gifts, a lot of new tech, stuff I'm going to be reviewing on the channel, talking about what I like, what I don't like. I am the kind of person who is weary about a new product coming out, even if it's an incremental upgrade of the product that coming out and what it's like and what it's going to be like. And also, there's typically a pretty high premium on a new device that comes out. So one of those devices that I'm going to talk about that I got for Christmas is the GoPro Hero 9 Black Edition. I know the 10 just came out. You can get that on a very sweet deal on GoPro's website if you sign up for their service, their GoPro service. I think that thing's like $350, which is almost the price of the 9 Black, and depending on where you get it from, they're almost the exact same price. So my thought process is I could get a whole bundle, which is what I got with this one. I got this whole bundle set up, you know, like batteries and whatnot. Anyway, so got all this little stuff they throw in together with the bundle, so it's not just the camera. I'm sure if you got just the camera, it's even cheaper. But there's just not a lot of differences between the two, just from what I saw review-wise. Now, unless reviewers were just not being honest or whatever, I didn't see a huge big difference. The only thing I saw was that I really think I probably would have wanted was the fact that the newer model seems like they fixed some of the jittering a little bit in the front screen, the rear screen. To me, that's not such a big deal because I'm not really watching that screen for clarity wise. I'm more or less watching that screen for to see if I'm in the frame or not. So also, one of the things I've talked about in the previous video was kind of my shooters and what I'm doing. And I'm the kind of person that I like minimalistic. I like to have as little on me as possible. And in the past, it's not always been the case. And I've just begun to notice that in the world that I'm in and of the type of tech and promo and stuff that I do, I am not the greatest video editor. I'm not the greatest shooter. I am definitely would not call myself some elite producer. However, what I do is I can take a video and people like what they see. They like what I produce and what comes out. And yeah, I think there's a lot of great videographers out there, but I think for the money that I charge and how quickly I edit and get stuff out and how good it is, I think that's what really attracts people. Is like, it's a smoothness, it's not jittery, it's not jerky, everything feels like it's in the right place. And I do pride myself on the production value and the production side of it, and I really think that that's kind of what helps, is that I shoot with a phone a lot. I shoot with, you know, an older GoPro. I shoot with an older camera or a smaller camera. I shoot with a phone a lot. Nowadays, it's not a terrible thing. Used to, people would be like, and there still are, I think, some people out there, especially some old school folks, that are just like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say that a phone can replace a really nice mirrorless camera, but for the most part, I mean, just for vlogging and stuff like this, I think phones do a great job. I mean, and even older phones. So that's kind of, I guess, where my channel is going to go, is to show you that always the latest and greatest is not a necessity. It's nice to have if you've got the money, but I think so many people feel obligated or held back from being creative and putting content out there because they feel like their technology is too old or they just can't do it. So let me tell you a little bit about what we're working with. So the drone footage you saw is the DJI Mini 2. It's the Mini 2, and I've seen some incredible drone footage from this little bitty drone. It flies a little bit higher, even though it can't fly quite as high as its bigger brother. It is a little limited as far as speed and just range and a few other things like that. But for the most part, for what I just shot, looks pretty good. And I would say a person who used the first gen Mini and now the second gen is extremely better. I noticed a lot less interference with wind, and it wasn't a very super windy day, but there was wind out. And if you'll look closely at some of the tree shots that I got, things, you'll see that. So, but it handled it great, and I just love the Mini because to me, the smaller drones are so much easier. So, to me, the 4K that comes out of the Mini 2 is exceptional. It looks extremely great. I noticed right away, one of my biggest fears is always the connectivity that I had from the regular Mini, and then this Mini being just way better. So I just felt a lot more confident flying it. I'm used to flying it. It flies really well. It did do better with wind resistance. So that was drone footage you saw. You saw the GoPro footage. The rest of the footage that you saw in the video was from an iPhone 11 Pro, one of my daily carries. I carry an iPhone and an Android. Right now, I'm shooting on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Probably been my second or third favorite phone I've ever owned. It's up there in the top 10 for sure. I love the S Pen, love S Pen support, and yeah, I've had to kind of play with cameras a little bit and quality and how to shoot with it and this, that, and the other. It definitely has a learning curve inside the camera, and I'm hoping, I'm on a kind of a bumpy road right now. So this is kind of a little bit more of a stretch of highway that's kind of old and kind of bumpy. I'm leaving the country where my parents live, so it's a lot of industrial use. So we'll see. I see this shaking a little bit. We'll see how it's worked. But I've got this in a Panaverse car mount. I've had that mount for a very, very long time. I've even used it one time. I'll drop a link to from my car channel where I test drove a Nissan GTR, and I actually mounted my Canon T4i on top of the car with this mount outside and did launch control. They do like 0 to 60 in like 2.5 seconds or something crazy like that. So it held it. It didn't fly off. I didn't lose my camera. I was like, well, if I lose it, I lose it, you know. So I love these mounts. I'll post links to them. All this stuff I'm talking about, I'll post my affiliate links to it below. You can check those out. You can purchase them at any given time for all of this stuff. It's all on Amazon. You can check it out. It's really great, easy to order from Amazon. If you've already got a Prime account, which you should, you know, that 2-day shipping, you can't beat it. So all that to say, I have very little money in most of the stuff that I have. And as I'm moving into 2022, I'm ready for some upgrades. I'm ready for some phone upgrades because I'm carrying that, and I'm carrying the 11 Pro, and I think I'm ready to finally go back to carrying just one device, which is really, really hard for me to move away from. I've been considering going down to something small. I've actually thought about doing this whole series of being like how I went mini and just start like really cutting down everything in my life and just getting really, really simplified. I just got a new wallet, one of the really thin small wallets you just put a few cards in, and I usually carry a bunch of cards. And so for me, I've kind of almost been like, hope I don't miss those other cards. But most of them are things like insurance cards, voter registration card, my social security cards in there. Thought about doing this whole mini series about going mini and doing everything like really, really small. But then there's a part of me that like it's counterintuitive, because I've thought about doing an iPhone mini, an iPad mini, and a desktop setup with the new Mac Mini with the M1 in it. I've heard how much powerhouse it is, how many people are using it strictly for video editing, which is all I would pretty much use it for. And then I also thought about pairing that with Samsung. Has a really cool monitor. I have Samsung TV. It works very similar to that. It's called the M7. I thought about, you know, those would kind of be the best of both worlds. I'd kind of have a little bit of Windows support there, doing things like Word and spreadsheets and things like that as I needed them. And then for the rest of the time, I've just got this really nice 4K 32-inch monitor. But I was like, that kind of defeats the purpose of being mini, right? Like, you know, small little office setup that's in the corner of my kitchen, and, you know, but then I put a 32-inch monitor on there, and it's kind of like, well, you just killed the mini idea. I've thought about going over and not doing a tablet and just getting like a Z Fold 3 and having a phone and tablet kind of all in one, and then the computer at home. But then I think about, if I kind of wanted to have a small little on-the-go setup, not necessarily a laptop setup, but something more along the lines of like a, you know, a tablet that could act as a laptop in a pinch. I just don't think that there's a need for me to have two phones, a laptop, an iPad or a tablet, and a home computer. It's just a lot. And then on top of that, you have a camera, and then you've got a drone, and it's a lot. So that's kind of my dilemma. But as we go into 2022, those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about, some of the things that I'm going to be reviewing, some of the new stuff that I got. Really, really cool, great stuff. And I'll drop a link to all of it below. All of them are my affiliate links. You'd help me out greatly if you would go check them out, and if you like them, to purchase them. So hope you all had a great Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you on the other side in 2022 for the arrival of the channel and where it's going. See ya.